Well, hello there, my friends, and thank you for joining us today for this ministry moment. We do these each week, Thursday usually, but of course, since it's live streamed, you can watch it at any time. And I hope this will be a blessing for you as you do your own devotional, or perhaps just get a little spiritual pick-me-up in the middle of the week. And I hope that you're surviving the weather that we've got. Let's see, I think it was 10 degrees when I came in this morning. And it's been awful. But I hope now that your driveways and sidewalks have been plowed. I hope that your walkways have been shoveled and that your pantry is full. And I hope you will join with me in praying that the weather doesn't do this again, at least not until next year. I wanted to share with you a story that I ran across not too terribly long ago, actually. It is set in the year 1904, and it took place in Milwaukee. Fortunately, it's not a violent news piece. And there was a man there who took his neighbor girl he was kind of sweet on, named Bessie Carey, on a picnic. And they had the picnic on a small island in Lake Michigan, not too far from the shore. You could take a rowboat to it and back from it. His name was Ole, and he rode 2.5 miles to get back to the mainland, and then 2.5 miles if he had to go to the island. Well, Bessie craved some ice cream. And of course, like the dashing and debonair boyfriend that he was, he said, "I'll get you some." And he took the 2.5-mile trip to land, bought it, and then took it back to continue the picnic. Unfortunately, by the time he got back, the ice cream was a globby, gooey mess. So I assume they just went on with their picnic. But Ole was thinking, what can I do about that? There's got to be something that can solve this problem. He was a mechanic, and he tried to find a more efficient way to pilot or to propel a small boat. And 5 years later, Ole, whose last name was Evinrude, if you're a fisherman, you know that name, patented his revolutionary outboard motor and formed the Evinrude Motor Company, which of course is still active today and doing quite well. We're talking starting in 1907, 08. And before long, the company was absolutely swamped with orders for this one-cylinder outboard motor, as it became called. And of course, the credit for the invention goes to Ole, but Bessie Carey, soon after that, Bessie Evinrude, was responsible for the day-to-day work of the company. Now, this thing reminds me of two different points. One of them's kind of secular, and one of them is very definitely religious. If we were to see this on TV, we'd probably conclude with a correct conclusion that the human spirit can accomplish much, and creativity is something we can all do if we actually set out to solve a problem. That's one approach, and it's a good one, and it's a true one. The other approach, though, and this is the Christian approach, is that if God wants to go down a certain path, and if he calls us to it, we will succeed. Now, I don't know about the religious persuasion of Ola Evinrude, but I do know a lot of these inventors were religious people. The Wright brothers, for example. There's a verse that the Apostle Paul gives us in Philippians 4, verse 13. He says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Now, of course, Paul was talking about coming out from under a situation of punishment or illness or something that was inhibiting the early church. But it also applies to we Christians today. God will give us the strength if we seek him out and strive to do his will. And my friends, that's a promise that you can count on. I hope that you have a wonderful and blessed day and also a blessed weekend. I want you all to know that as far as I know right now, we are going to have our worship service on Sunday, and I look forward to seeing you then at 10:45. We do have the worship service on this channel, and I look forward to joining me next week as we talk about another ministry